The last time we were together, we talked about the quest for wisdom based upon the wisdom book of the children of Israel, the Hebrews, the book of Proverbs. I want to talk about what is contrasted with that in Proverbs. And then these two things are diametrically opposed. To begin with, once again, just to reiterate and review a few things that we mentioned the last time we were together. The purpose for the book of Proverbs, chapter 1, verse 2, to know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, judgment, and equity, to give discretion to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion, to understand a proverb and an enigma, a puzzle, something difficult to understand, the words of the wise and their riddles. The quest for wisdom. The quest for wisdom is contrasted with something else. It's directly opposite of that. In chapter 14 of Proverbs, the wisdom of the prudent is to understand his way. Verse 8, but the folly of fools is deceit. The deceit of foolishness is the topic for this time we have together. So with that in mind, what has the wisdom book of the Israelites actually said about foolishness? It's intertwined with wisdom all throughout this book. Let's go back to begin with some statements that are made in chapter 9. Verse number 6, forsake foolishness and live. Go on in the way of understanding. And then here's a contrast. He who corrects a scoffer gets shame for himself, and he who rebukes a wicked man only harms himself. Do not correct a scoffer lest he hate you. Why is that the case? These individuals do not listen. They don't want to listen. They don't want to learn anything other than conclusions that they have already reached, how erroneous those conclusions may be. On the contrast of that, rebuke a wise man, and he will love you. Give instruction to a wise man, and he'll be wiser still. Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning. Those individuals that actually recognize that they are not the final answer. Those individuals that have an insatiable desire to learn, to not just attain a greater knowledge of facts, but a greater understanding of how to analyze those facts, how to consistently, logically, rationally utilize that kind of information in a way that would be considered a way that you understand the facts. A wise individual understands how to apply what he learns. The statement that's made in chapter 15, verse number 2. The tongue of the wise uses knowledge rightly, but the mouth of fools pours forth foolishness. Why is that the case? Really, based upon what we've already mentioned out of previous chapters. Those individuals that fall in this category do not want to learn. They do not want to even contemplate that they may be incorrect. It's my way or no way at all. Verse number 7 of chapter 15, the lips of the wise disperse knowledge, but the heart of the fool does not do so. That's not his intent. That is not his desire. Verse number 12, a scoffer does not love one who corrects him, nor will he go to the wise. The scoffer, who is actually classified as that foolish individual, avoids being challenged. Do not give me a different point of view. I don't want a different point of view. In fact, the verse again, verse 12, a scoffer does not love one who corrects him, nor will he go to the wise. What's the end result? I'm going to surround myself with people that think exactly the same way that I do, that reach exactly the same conclusions. We will all pat ourselves on the back and tell each other how correct we are. We're not going to be challenged by anything around us. You know, the algorithms that you find in the searches that you do online, have you ever noticed, well, you enjoyed that, you will probably also enjoy this. Or you like that story, you'll like this story. Now, what they have managed to do with culture is to get any kind of challenge of one's way of thinking out of the process. Oh, well, we'll search things, and all the things we search seem to actually agree with our point of view and our conclusions. That must be right. No, you've just been spoon-fed things that go along with what you've already concluded. How appropriate is that? It's not appropriate at all. It's actually a dumbing down of our culture. It's not expanding wisdom. It's just the opposite. It's not involved in a quest for understanding or wisdom. It's actually something that deals with the deceit of foolishness. Continue in chapter 15. Verse number 14, the heart of him who understands seeks knowledge, but the mouth of fools feeds on foolishness. They hear the same thing over and over again. They don't want another point of view. So much so that we may try to actually stop anybody from disagreeing with us, silence people that do not agree with us. Verse number 28. The heart of the righteous studies how to answer, but the mouth of the wicked pours forth evil. The last few verses of chapter 15. The ear that hears the rebukes of life will abide among the wise. I'm listening to different points of view and analyzing everything that I hear. He who disdains instruction despises his own soul, but he who heeds rebuke gets understanding. It's amazing. With a book as old as the book of Proverbs, how well it fits situations in which we find our culture today. Humanity hasn't changed. And the technological advancements that we have, being able to search anything and everything possible on the internet, hasn't really challenged the intellect, but it sure has fed the dumbing down of our culture. In chapter 17, towards the end, verse number 27 to 20, the last two verses of chapter 17. He who has knowledge spares his words, and man of understanding is of a calm spirit. Even a fool is counted wise when he holds his peace. When he shuts his lips, he is considered perceptive. Abraham Lincoln is credited with the statement, it's better to be thought of as a fool than to open one's mouth and remove all doubt. It's a very succinct way for this principle to be stated, because that's exactly the statement of the last verse of Proverbs chapter 17. We need to think before we speak. We need to be willing to analyze, look at different perspectives, be challenged with different thoughts, rather than believe that we're seeing the whole picture when we're being spoon-fed a part of the picture and totally ignorant or foolish to the rest of the details that actually exist, to which we have never been exposed. Let's be individuals that maintain a quest for wisdom in our life, individuals that are not encumbered with the deceit of foolishness. We want to be understanding people, not people that are wise in our own eyes, because no individual has all of the answers. Although you do have your hand on the Bible, you have a tremendous answer book. The book of Proverbs actually points that out. Statements written thousands of years ago that sound like they're analyzing our culture today. How remarkable is that? Please stay safe. We'll talk again soon.